Hello Libra, welcome to my Body and Heart Tarot Therapy. I'm so happy to sit with you here and do the reading for the month of June for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs, yeah? So this is a general reading. If it resonates, it resonates, and if it doesn't, then this reading wasn't meant for you. I pre-shuffled your cards, and now let's see what pops up for you. I hope you are well, Libra. Libra for the month of June 2019. What are the energies for Libra? Alright, so we're starting with the Nine of Pentacles. Beautiful. So I'm gonna pull out like 4 cards. We're gonna see. Ooh, there we go. 6 of Wands. I'm gonna pull out 4 cards. We're gonna see what's the underlying energy, and I'm gonna pull out some clarifiers to see the duality of the situation, and yeah, look at the story a little bit deeper. What else we have for Libra for the month of June? Here we go. 3 of Wands. Beautiful. A lot of Wands energy, Libra. Focus on your spirituality. Beautiful. What else do we have for Libra? Okay, now we have 2. I swear this 8 of Swords is showing up in so many readings. So the 8 of Swords came already together with the 10 of Cups. Interesting combination. And bottom of the deck we have the Ace of Swords. Alright. Beautiful. Now let's see what else. What are the clarifiers for this? Okay, so we have the Fool with the 9 of Pentacles. They pop up so fast. That's beautiful. The Magician of the 6 of Wands. Oh. Alright. What do we have? A 3 of Wands. The Judgment for the 3 of Wands. It's a powerful reading, Libra. So very powerful cards. Very powerful cards. Alright, so we have Judgment. And how fitting, we have the 4 of Wands to go along with the 10 of Cups and the 8 of Swords. Beautiful. And bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Wands as your underlying energy to go along with the Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords with the Queen of Wands are your theme. Alright, and I feel that you're coming into the realization of what your power is. You're coming into your power. You're coming to understand how powerful you really are, Libra. And that's amazing. That's amazing because many times we can focus too much on other people's needs. So we can focus too much on you, Libra, come on. Keeping the balance and being the mediator. And sometimes that can feel a little bit disempowering, you know. It feels like the focus is not really on us. So The focus doesn't need to be on us in order to keep our power, to be honest. But if we need it, we can shift it. Whenever we need to focus on our inner world, we can. Whenever we need to focus on the outer world, we can, because we have the power. You are the one who holds all the cards about what is it that you want to do in your life, with your time, with your energy. How do you want to spend your energy? With whom? For what? It's your choice. So you get to understand this. You get to understand that you do have a choice. You get to understand that you can step within your power, and that you choose what you do with that in any situation. Sometimes I'm not saying that in very drastic situations we always have the choice to not be in that situation. No, but the choice that we have is how we relate to whatever it is that happens to us. When the outside circumstances can be devastating, let's say there's like natural disaster, we can't choose to not be there. We can't choose to not have that experience. That's not really up to us. That's up to your soul that put you in that situation in the first place in order to learn something from this. But what you can choose in that moment is, how do you relate to the experience? No matter how horrible or no matter how ecstatic it might be, do you take this personally? Do you take this to your ego? Do you feel, why is this happening to me? And which is normal. I mean, we're all guilty of that for every once in a while or at some moments in time. But here you understand the power that you actually have within yourself to create your own reality. And the reality is not necessarily the reality of these outside circumstances, but it's the reality of what does that really mean to you? What are you learning from this? And how do you really feel inside based on that relationship that you create with the outside events and with your inner self? And yeah, this realization propels you into being this very, very empowered lady. Well, not necessarily that you are a lady, but I mean in this energy of feeling really empowered and feeling really understanding that you have a garden around you which is yours, and it's the result of your hard work. This is a feminine energy. You see there's this female sign everywhere. Is that hard work that our feminine side puts in and sometimes does not really get the recognition? Well, here you get it. Here you start seeing it, and you start like indulging in it, and you should. You've worked so hard. It's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor a little bit. And this is the result of hard work. You see there's the snail here, and the snail has to do with timing and with time management. And there's this bird here which has been tamed. So she worked really hard to tame this bird, which is the what's it called, sorry guys, sometimes this happens. Yes, it's the symbol of how hard she worked to tame her impulses and her wild side. It doesn't mean, she's the master of her own will here. She's empowered, and she's got all this garden to really enjoy. She's well dressed. She's she enjoys the riches of her own work and the fruits of her labor. And I think that you're supposed to do this now. You're supposed to look in your garden and see how rich it really is. Your inner garden. And also around the world. This is like this is Pentacles energy, so it may very well have to do with also just in understanding that you're doing well. I mean, like, I don't know, I'm not saying that you're rich financially or something like this, but if we look across the world and we see kind of like what is really the level of poverty out there, and how actually those of us that have access to internet, have access to this sort of knowledge and understanding that comes from tarot, and we tend to be on the privileged side, right? So it's not a guilt trip here, but it's good to know and to understand that we have a rich garden down there, no matter how poor it can look at times. And it comes with the Fool. So I think the Fool here is also a little bit like, no, this is a 9, it's close to an end, it's close to an end of a cycle, and maybe it's time to make the leap and go straight into the Fool. Because yeah, this 9 of Pentacles, it's an amazing energy of enjoying your own garden, but it's also maybe a little bit of a warning to not get stuck in your garden, to still go out there and explore the world. Don't get too comfortable here. I mean, like, by all means do enjoy it because you work so hard for it, but allow yourself to still take that leap of faith and go out into the world and keep exploring. It's a new cycle. It's a 0, right? The Fool is all about starting out a new adventure into a new way of being. So whatever it is that you work with, you realize your power, you understand your choices, you understand your ability to make choices, and you understand maybe where in the past you might have given your power away. And this brings you to this place of amazing inner comfort, knowing that you have the power, knowing that you have the riches that you've gathered so far. These pentacles here could also very well mean knowledge and your understanding of the world, your experience, your lifelong experiences. And the Fool is like pretty contrasting energy in that sense, because he's just a dude that doesn't have much. See, he's got only this little pack over there. He travels light. And he's full of enthusiasm, and he's full of joy, and he doesn't even look where he's gonna go because he trusts the universe to keep him safe. And this is an encouragement to still keep some of that youthful energy. I'm gonna pull out a clarifier for this. So why is the Fool here with the 9 of Pentacles? Why is the Fool here with the 9 of Pentacles? Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is someone who's been through a lot. The Queen of Swords is someone who is this archetype of a woman that had suffered so much, and she put herself together over and over again. And once she finally put herself together, another crazy shit happens to her, and she needs to rebuild from 0 again and again and again. And as a result to this, she understands deeply the human suffering, she understands deeply the dangers that lie ahead, and she deeply understands also her inner power. But the dark side of the Queen of Swords is that she tends to be a little bit over defensive and a little bit cold. She doesn't really care in particular for people's feelings and emotions. And she's a good communicator, and especially a good communicator of boundaries and stuff. And yeah, see, this lady here is surrounded by her boundaries, which are, yes, her riches and her garden and everything, and it's safe and it's nice there, and nobody can really touch her. And by the way, this Nine of Wands also could show that you are doing well by yourself and you are not in need of anyone else around you. So that can make others feel you're a little bit inaccessible and unavailable, which is fine if this is where you want to be, but just so you know that this could be also the messages that you're sending out. And with the Queen of Swords, you might be sending it out quite fiercely and strongly. And yeah, as I said, it's perfectly fine if that's where you want to be. But if you actually do want to relate to people, if you do want to bring people in your life, allow people in your life to feel welcomed and feel like they have a part in your life, maybe it's time to also allow a little bit of this fool to come out, you know, allow this youthful energy to be more playful and more trustful. These two ladies aren't particularly trustful. They trust in themselves and that's it. And it's great to have that inner trust that I can take care of myself. But if you're bloating too much in this, okay, yes, I can take care of myself, I don't need anyone, well, that's also shows inability to trust and connect with others. And that means that there's an inner wound in there that hasn't been healed. If I'm overprotective and if I'm taking so much pride in being able to take care of myself and that's it, it means that that part of me is being threatened still. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's good to accept where we are. But knowing where you are, it also helps you know what you need to put your focus on and what your next cycle maybe needs to focus on, which is this Queen of Swords. This is somewhat at the root at your current energy. You do have the power, but don't overuse it. You do have the power, but don't fence yourself up. All right. And you know, this starts showing. This starts showing, like the Six of Wands is a card of first of all showing yourself, seeing for yourself the accomplishments that you achieved during your journey, right? And it's kind of bordering this one and having to do also with understanding your inner power. And here you go, it goes with the Magician, which is all about, you know, your power as a human being, your power as a manifester. You do have everything that you need here on the table, and you're aware of it right now, and you're owning it. You're owning everything. And people see it from the outside. People are giving you recognition for your journey and for your... I hate to say it, accomplishments, because it's not like accomplishments are the result or the goal of a spiritual journey. And it's pretty much what it is. This is all about right now. Oh, so much one's energy shows that this reading is very much about your spiritual growth and your inner growth, right? So it's more about, yeah, see, you have like all these wands over here that have leaves on it, and that symbolizes growth. And that your wand also has some leaves over here, and it has these laurels here, so it shows that you've, see, the zero, this is like a zero, you've completed a sort of a smaller cycle, and you've learned from it, and you're growing from it. This shows that you're growing and that you've grown and that you keep growing, and also sharing this to the world and allowing the people to see your inner growth helps them grow as well. See, they also hold wands here with the leaves and stuff. So go on doing what you're doing, own your power, and know that you do create your own reality. You do create your own world. And we talked about this in the beginning. I'm not going to go into that again, but you are the creator of your own reality. Wherever it is your focus, if you focus on being overly defensive, then the world around you will look threatening and dangerous. But if you focus on your own power and just being like this, more trustful, then what is it that you are seeing in your world and you're encountering is more trust. The more love you have for yourself and for the world, the more you will see the love out there. Because everything is out there. Everything. Question is, what is it that we see? You know, it's funny. I moved into a flat 2 months ago, and I was in the kitchen the other day, and I was just, I don't know, my gaze was moving around the wall aimlessly, and I see these pipes coming out of the wall, which were quite big and quite evident. But I've never seen them before, because I don't know, I never looked that way, or maybe I looked that way because it actually is in one's field of view. It is not like somewhere in a corner where people won't really see. It's just that I've never really noticed them. So for me, those pipes just materialized there for the first time. They really just appeared in my existence. Before that, they didn't exist for me. And yeah, this story is just to show us that if we do, things are in front of us all the time, everything, whether there's rusty pipes or beautiful flowers, sometimes we can see them and sometimes we cannot. And if I'm used to just see the pipes, I will see the pipes immediately. If I'm I don't know, installation engineer or something like that, probably that's the first thing I would see. But if I'm more inclined to see the flowers, I will see the flowers immediately wherever I go. This is what I mean when I'm saying that you're the creator of your own reality, and the magician knows that. The magician is aware. The magician is aware of everything. He's got on the table the pentacles, the cups, the sword, and he's holding in his hand the wand up to the sky, and yeah, and the other hand down towards the earth. As your inner world is, so is your outer world. It will just match it. So if you want, I'm not saying that you should focus only on the flowers. You should see the pipes too. You should see the goods and the bads. We are living in a world of duality. But seeing the both sides of the coin for each and every aspect of our lives brings more loving awareness, and then it resolves those dualities, because you understand that there is no, not one without another. There is no white without black. Then I can step back and I can see the yin and yang. And it's the same with everything. Three of Wands with the Judgment. Well, here you go. You've made your decision. This realization of your inner power, this realization of what's really at the core of your current journey, and having the world out there supporting your growth and rewarding your growth, enables you to make a jump, a big jump. You hold your wand of power, and you've taken in the decision, and this could actually mean travel overseas. See, there's all these ships coming in and he's contemplating this travel, but the decision has been made. Everything is set in motion right now to manifest what is it that the direction that you decided for. And it comes with the judgment. And I believe that means that a dramatic change will come into your life. And look what's coming. It's just beautiful. Judgment is a card of a new cycle, an end of an old cycle. See, it's like the Judgment Day. When we say this to Christians especially, they freak out. But it's not like that, because it's more of a time where this cycle has ended, and you can look back and what this cycle was like, and you can easily assess, okay, how did this go? What did I do well? What did I do not so skillfully? What can I work on the next cycle? And so on and so on and so on. And this doesn't need to be in any way dramatic, or it's not about punishment. It's not about, it is about forgiveness though. So having this, it's a rebirth kind of card. Look at these people raising from their graves and receiving the grace of God. This is forgiveness. This is, it's really like looking at yourself with the biggest and most honesty that you can muster, and also the other actors in your life, and have compassion and forgiveness for each and every aspect of yourself there. When we are assessing ourselves, we have this habit of looking, we take the goods that happened and for granted. We don't really give ourselves much of the recognition, but I think in this case you do. This is what prompts this whole judgment. And we tend to focus a little bit on the dark side, on the bad things that happened, or where we went wrong, and what is it that we did that I'm not so happy with. And we focus too much on this. I mean, like, it's important to focus on it and to give it space, and to give it first, accept it and give it compassion, right? And forgive ourselves for sometimes repeating same patterns and making same mistakes again. We're like, okay, I've done all this work, there have been all these cycles, and here I am doing the same same mistakes again that I thought I completely outgrown. But that's just a signal that attention needs to be put in that direction in the new cycle, and that's perfectly fine. And I want to see what is it in call for forgiveness here. What does it need to be forgiven? We have the Six of Wands, the Six of Swords. This is an energy where we're moving away from a painful situation, but we're moving away from a painful way of thinking actually about a situation. This is a Swords energy, so it's about your mind. It's how you perceive things. So it could very well mean that you need to forgive yourself here for thinking in a certain way. Forgiveness is needed. And that's just what you need to forgive. You need to forgive those people in your life that made you feel like this, and you need to forgive yourself for putting yourself in this mind trap of yours. You know, Libra, you are an air sign, and air signs tend to think a lot and tend to overthink sometimes. And this is a card of overthinking. These are like when we get trapped into stories. These are your stories. All these sorts of stories. Okay, this is the story that I cannot take care of myself. This is the story that I'm stuck. This is the story that I'm not worthy or not good enough somehow. This is the story that this is not supposed to happen. I had a different plan. This is this. All these stories pop into in your mind, and you can get trapped in them if you start believing each and every story that pops into your mind and identify with them. It's okay to see them. It's okay to step back and look at them. And this is what you're doing with the Judgment card. You're looking back with detachment and with simple, and with compassion to what are the stories that are running into your mind. Am I a victim to my circumstances, or am I empowered? Do I have a choice here? Can I cut this binds here? Like I have all these swords here. This can be, I can easily set myself free if I'm just seeing. But see, you're blindfolded here, so you didn't see, and this is what you're moving away from. This is what forgiveness is all about, because when I see myself in this situation, and when I notice that I'm in this mindset, or when I'm this cloudy place where I'm not really seeing how I'm not really making use of my power and my environment, and I'm not using my mind to actually cut what sets me back, what holds me stuck, but I'm using the swords as my prison, my mind, then I tend to be very ashamed. I'm like, okay, wait, I've gone so far, I've done all this work, and here I find myself here again. How the hell? But this is what we need compassion for. We need to understand that this is a natural thing that the mind does. It's a part of our defense mechanisms. The mind tries to keep us stuck sometimes because it's afraid of what's coming next, doesn't know. And it's also, it's holding all the limiting beliefs that we've internalized from a very young age, that I'm not worthy of this, and this. And in this case could be that I'm not worthy of happiness. Do you allow yourself to really be happy? Do you even know what happiness really means to you? Is happiness only is happiness something? Sorry, just got a message about the video here. Seems like we're going longer than expected, but never mind. The happiness might be right in front of your eyes, but you may not see it right now because of all these stories that run in the background, which take, not just in the background right now, take an active space and kind of keep you stuck. So one way to get out of this is practice forgiveness. Remember that you're empowered. Remember this whole insight that you have in this cycle, right, of this month of June. Remember that sometimes we come into this place when we become over defensive. The Queen of Swords is not just over defensive. She also has a lot of clarity of mind. She's very clear about where she's at. She's very clear about what is it that she needs, and she puts those boundaries, and she kind of cuts off people a little bit too fast sometimes. But her bright side is that she sees everything. She's got all this mental clarity. She's above these clouds here. She's got the bird's eye view. She understands. So Connect to this side of yourself. Connect with the insights that come to you repeatedly. Sometimes an insight needs to come many times in order for it to be fully integrated. And it does have to do with the way our brain works, you know. To create new neural pathways, you need to have an idea or a thought quite a few times before that neural pathway is being created. And one of these neural pathways that you're creating right now is kind of moving out of this limiting beliefs and moving into this empowered self, understanding that you do have the power. And this is something we all need to remember from time to time and to remind ourselves. And yeah, hardwire that happiness. There's this book called Hardwiring Happiness. There's also a TED Talk. I forgot the name of the guy. I can search it and put it in the description box. And he talks about how we can, like from a neurology perspective, how can we hardwire happiness? They give us a few tricks of how can we feel more happiness in our lives by retraining our brain to focus on and retain the happy moments more, because the brain is used to just see the dark side of stuff and to see the mistakes and to see the things that went wrong and to see the mistakes that we've done and so on and so on and so on. So look at what is your idea of happiness. Look at, do you see it? Do you allow yourself to see it? Do you allow yourself to feel the happiness? And I think you do. I think you're starting to move away from this, as I said. And have forgiveness for this side of you. Don't be harsh on yourself, and don't be harsh on other people either. Allow yourself to come back to this Ten of Cups, which is fantastic energy. And look at this. This is look at this too. Seriously now, they're like mirroring each other, you know, like these guys are they pretty much look like these guys. They look from the other side, you know. It's a couple here that maybe here they just got married, or they just like they're gaining recognition for something that they've accomplished together. It can be two different aspects of yourself, two opposing factors, that duality that we're talking about resolving, but it can very well mean literally relationship with other people, and how, when maybe your loving partner or something like that, and your idea of happiness in a relationship. So we're moving into this amazing energy by allowing forgiveness and by understanding your own power. And when you understand your own power, you can never feel like this again. Not truly. Alright, Libra, this was a much longer reading than I expected. I hope you can relate to it. I hope you can take the messages that make sense to you and feel empowered by them. So if you did enjoy the reading, please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you here next time. Have a great June.